Hi, we're still the 1st of January 2017. I'm wishing you all the best new year and the best year ever. This is part 2 of my videos today where I look at my favorite 2016 decks. And this part is more about Oracle and cards in general. I love cards, playing cards, whatever cards. I love games with it. So I'm going to start with the more general oracle decks or card decks I use. So my Oracle of the Radiant Sun by Caroline Smith and John Astra. It's based on astrology. So each card, you see, there's the signs and all that. And well, you know, they're my favorite authors for for decks. So I just love it. It looks vintage, but it's not. It's from the 80s or 90s. I just one card I pair with a tarot, and that's it. I'm gone. I'm learning astrology with it too, because that's one of my weaknesses. So right now I'm trying to learn more. But you can read it. You can use it without knowing that. The images are so powerful to me, I think. Let me show you close. I like to show the close cards. By the way, guys, not a criticism at all, because, you know, it's not my place, but showing decks from here, sometimes on some videos, I'm like, oh, I wish you were a bit closer. I might be too close, but I'm showing the cards. I mean, you see me, great, but it's the cards you want to see, really. So here you go. So they're all divided differently depending on what planet they represent. Just a great general, you can use it with any deck, any tarot deck, or if you just read oracles. You see, I find it hard with oracles. They're all too or spiritual and like fairies and all that, or they're too themed. I've had difficulties. I'm a tarot reader, basically. And I've had difficulties finding oracles that I really can use, you know, for a lot of different things. And this one is an all-rounder. You can use it as a deck itself. You don't need a tarot with it. And I like having decks like that. So this one cost me, but I got it. Still looking for the Moon Oracle. If you have it, please leave me a note below. Desperately trying to find it. I don't know why I didn't buy it at the time, because I already had their main decks. I don't know, it just, you know, sometimes you feel, oh, why didn't I do that? Well, I didn't. But I'm so happy to have these. It's a great companion to any tarot, or you can read it as a standalone deck. I must move on, because otherwise it's going to be hours again. The next one that Ana Luisa made me discover, and it's a French deck. She knows French decks better than me. It's l'Oracle Bleu. Now, all people are blue. It's an exquisite deck. That's the elements. It's an all-rounder again deck. It's got a bit of Lenormand. It's got a bit of spiritual in it. It's got places, you see work. You can do. It's a standalone deck once again. You can do readings just with this deck, which I like, and it's an absolutely amazingly beautiful. Look at the gift. So it's got 3 languages on it. For you who understand only English, you should get the deck only. Don't get the box set. The box set comes with a book only in French, but the deck itself only has got a booklet with 3 languages, I think, including English anyway. So just a beautiful all-rounder deck. And the third one, well, I've got the other one, let's say, that I use as an all-rounder is the tarot of Tahiti, but it doesn't matter if it's of Tahiti, Tahiti being a French island, but in the Pacific, but it's a tarot card, playing card game. See, they're playing cards. They're not, it's, we have 2 tarot in France. We have the playing cards and we have the divination cards, which you would call more here Marseille, obviously. So the particular thing about it is that it's got exactly the same amount of cards as in a tarot deck, because they're obviously linked, aren't they? So, for example, there's your Fool. The illustrations here are a bit native, because obviously it's a tarot from Tahiti, but normally you would get scenes. It's like about the progression of the country. So this is about, well, the birth of Tahiti. There's always 2 pictures on it, so you can read reversals, but you don't know which one is a reversal, really. It's just a deck I really like using for that. So yeah, it's got the same. I'm not going to show you. See, it's got the same. It goes to the word, right? And then it's like playing cards, but you've got the same structure for the court cards. So you can read with that like a tarot. As I said, this one is Tahiti themed, but there's other themes if you want to find other themes, but I just like the Tahiti one. It makes it more earthy to me. So that's a deck I read with as a card deck, but like tarot. So. And then the Ana Cortez playing card, it's called Oracles, but really it's a card, it's a deck. And I discovered this watching a video by Kelly from the Truth in Story. And I'm getting amazing readings with this deck. So just basic playing cards, but there's always illustrations with it. And let me tell you, it's an amazing little deck. Now, with the book, you can learn about geomancy, and you've got a whole structure of reading, but honestly, I use it plain, just like a normal deck, and it works fine. So I do a little bit of geomancy, but it's not my thing. See what I mean? So I use that deck as a general deck, because reading with playing cards always attracted me, but then you know, it's more pure fortune telling, isn't it? But when they're too plain, I don't relate. So, but this one talks to me. So if you want to get into playing cards, excuse me, look, some are illustrated and beautiful. I happen to have this one, but there's plenty around. Now, in no particular order, I think now, because they're all different, but that's my first ever, if you can call it, oracle deck. It's the soul cards, 1 and 2, and this is at the time when I was only reading tarot, so I had it for years, And I use this, I pull a card now and again at night before I go to bed. And what I do is that I draw them. I like drawing them. It's just calling me to draw them, and by drawing them I can get into the picture and then get on with my dreams. So it's a deck I use for that. I hardly use it for a reading as such, although you can. But for me, it's get into the card and have a journey with it. So that's how I use it. It's very earthy, spiritual deck. It's just an amazing one. It's been going around forever. And as I said, I wasn't in the world of oracles at all, but it's a deck I wanted to use because it's also a deck, if people are not into tarot, you know, the big names, tarot, oracles, they're soul cards. And that's really what it is. It's like a reflection of your soul incarnation, I could say. And they're absolutely amazing. So as I said now, in no particular order, because they've all got a different. It's more difficult to put categories around oracle decks. It's the Shamanic Healing oracle card. By the way, fantastic. But I wish all the decks came in boxes like this, with the little book. It all fits nicely in there. You just open the flap and there it is. It's just a perfect format to me. But apart from this, they're called Shamanic Healing because basically, yes, they're based on shamanic work, but I use them with tarot cards with great success, I must say. The themes, see, stripping illusions, and there you go. You can go do a whole voyage on these. The themes are not fluffy at all, they're very earthy. Well, you know, shamanism, you don't have to be a shaman to use them at all. It's a deck that will tell you things how they are. Yeah. And nudge you in the right direction. They go fantastically with any tarot. I've used them with Marseille, right? So to tell you what different, you know, Marseille is very strict and all that, and this is extremely Mother Earth. And what I like about it is that it's not fluff. It's not, although I like fluffy decks, you know, I have a couple, but most of the time I don't, though. I don't use them much. And you can do journeys with them. You can do meditation, which means that you can do your own healing journey with it. And it's just a fantastic deck for that. So next, and this is the one that I'm gonna, it's the fairy tale oracle, I think. Maybe not, but that's what I call it. It's all based on fairy tales. It's an old deck. And this one was born in Findhorn in northern Scotland, where there's a centre there, spiritual centre. And it's one of the first decks that left a little bit. It's a tarot, but I don't use it as tarot at all. That's why it's with my oracles. Because to me it's an oracle. but it's got the tarot structure, but I don't use it with that. But it can help if you're a tarot reader to understand the cards. But it's all based on fairy tales, and as you know, fairy tales have got different meanings, different layers, and you can go in the layers of this deck. I look at this and journey with it. So although it's a tarot, but I put it in the oracle. That's why I never find it. I never know which cabinet it's in. But this time I didn't forget it, so I'm glad. You can do, there's that spread I love. It's that wishing well spread with it, where you fan your cards as a wishing well, and then you put one card in the middle, and that's your wish for the year. Like, you know, like that's a wish card too. It's a cuddly, yeah, it gets you in other words, you know, gets you in other words. Isn't that what tarot is supposed to do too? Oracles. So just a brilliant deck. I like decks that you can use for different things, you know, like the wishing well. It's like manifesting. You can use it for manifesting, which is great. Wow, I have more than I thought I did. I thought, oh, what oracle decks can I show? And then I've got plenty. Card divinatoire d'Argariel. It's a French one. The cards, I think, or is it the booklet is in French and in English? Is it? Yes. There's only a couple of words, you know, but on the booklet for each card. But what interests me is that you can do past lives reading with these. That's what they were made for, I think, to start with. And they look a bit like a Lenormand type deck, but I know. And yeah, fantastic results with these two. They just straight away they nudge me in the right direction. They look so simple though, huh? But I suppose like Lenormand. And yeah, but I use them. I have used them for divination, because only using them for past lives is not enough, because how do you get the proof that it works, you know? Yeah, you can have decks just for imagination or for writing, but I like to have a proof that this deck works for me. So I've used it with tarot too. I've paired it with tarot. You can, so as I said, oh, that's the back. You can do past lives with it. You can also do spirit work with it. Great deck for that. So it's not an all-rounder at all. This is a very specific deck for a specific use to me. But then, you know, it's not because the author said, oh, you can only use it for that. Find your own use. Push it. Push your boundaries. One deck that is more a self-reflective meditation deck is the Wild Kuan Yin, and it's not because of the pictures, which is the reason why I bought it. See, it's my Chinese. It looks so Chinese. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. I bought it because of the art. It just cracked me up. All these people flying everywhere. They're portrait and landscape cards, so I turn it like this. But what amazed me, see, if I just look at these, and the translation is a bit weird to me. Well, I don't know if it's a translation, I don't think so. Maybe it was written like this. So the English to me is a little bit funny the way it's written, but when you get into the booklet, oh my god, this takes you on such a spiritual path that it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, it gives you a way to do things. Remember, I said, spiritual doesn't mean fluffy angels to me. It means grounding the spirit so you can be as connected as possible. Um, so, yeah, if you want to journey and do some path working and get to know why you're on this planet, your life path, this is one that can be used for that. So after this, I still have many. I'm really surprised I have so many. A pure fortune telling, because I like fortune telling. I've been told off about it for years because I was more studying with spiritualists for a while, and they are absolutely against fortune telling, which I can see their point, and it's not my main thing, fortune telling. I don't do much with tarot. I think tarot's got, it would be reducing the qualities, every quality there is in these cards, be it tarot and oracle, to a 1/10 of it, or not even. But these ones, the Russian Gypsy fortune telling cards, are just for that. And I just like the concept, like that dragon oracle. That's it's it doesn't want to come out. Yeah. Here they are. So they paper thin, and I'm always scared to use them. But basically, the system of it, like the Starlight Dragon, that's it. Ooh, names today. Ooh. They, you see, they make pictures by putting them together and then turning them around to try and find a match. And then you will read all your matches. So you do a big, like a Lenormand Grand Tableau, and then you turn them around to find their match and read the matches. I absolutely love these cards. They're my fortune telling pack. I've got a few others, a couple of others, but this is my main one. One that I use for activation is my sacred geometry cards for the visionary path. Now there's another one called Oracle, but I prefer this one personally. And I use it for different things, but mainly for card activation because of the, oh, it doesn't want to come, oh god. So you've got cards with shapes, geometrical shapes, right, like this, and then, right, and this is where it's absolutely stunning. You can put crystals on them, you can put cards on them, you can read it with tarot. They're very powerful. It's a very powerful deck that will get you into a deep spiritual path. So they have colors, but I couldn't match them with any chakras. But then, I will say blue, there, the throat. I would use them a little bit like that, but they're not specific for that. It's the geometry, which I always hated at school. If my geometry teacher saw me now showing some geometry cards, he'd go, never, never. But yes, because if he told me then that you could manifest things with sacred geometry, and if he told me, for example, that some sacred buildings were built on geometry and lines and earth lines and all that, I would have loved learning it. So you see, when you get a card like this, you can plunge in that water, look at the shape of the geometric shape, and just have your own voyage with it. They're meditation cards. You can do readings with it, but honestly, I don't think, it's not a general readings at all deck. It's very, very deep for you to travel within your own past. They're portals, basically. They're mini portals. See, receiving. Woo. Yeah, they're extremely strong. I don't use them often, but I must say that I've had a couple of experiences with them that just blew me away. I can't talk about every experience I've had with decks, but they're quite amazing. I don't want to crush the cards. Oops. So that was the sacred geometry cards. Another one that I use for general readings too, but it's a Norasoma deck. It's the Farben der Engel. It was published in German, but as I always say, Darsho translated it in English. You can get it from her site. But it's the Arasoma bottles shaken. And I do color readings with it. As in, I don't say, oh, this color suits you. It's not that. It's just that I get into the card. So that's clear and red, for example. That's the Christ bottle, if I remember well. Now, I'm not Arasoma trained, and I'm learning along with my Arasoma tarot. I've got a couple of bottles. I don't have access to them now, so I can't show you. But anyway, I forgot to tell you about how many cards there are in it. But, you can find the information online. There's a lot. 100 and something. 15, I think. And each card, I just pull one, or to meditate on, or to pair with a tarot card, and it gives me added information. These colors are made from oil, water, herbs, crystals. I forgot things, but a lot. Look at that, the purity. Well, the white is difficult to see. But I can't stop raving about these cards. I like Arasoma, but these cards just did it for me. Because reading from the shapes, it's so intuitive, and then you can link through it, not only with chakras, angels, any vibration. You can see there's a little angel here, or even a dragon, a white dragon. You can read the shapes, like when you look at the clouds, you've got all these shapes. Look at that. That looks like the underworld. Yeah, beautiful, inspiring one-off deck that is not even expensive. So I don't get any percentage on the sales, let me tell you. But if you're looking, if you like colors, and you don't even need to know Arasoma that much, you can read from one card. If you're interested in colors and chakras, basically, you can get this. Matching my glasses and matching me. Actually, this is my card today. I'm gonna be pink and white today. So look at how you can get into the card. Yeah, just I don't have enough. Oh, this looks like New Year, the firework. I don't have enough vocabulary to explain what these bring me. Obviously, you need to like colors and all that, but that's a fantastic deck. And so fantastic that I've got the Arasoma with the back bottles, but I always pick the equivalent in that deck now because it's giving me even more information. So now I wish that the Arasoma deck had the tarot on one side and these bottles at the back and these at the back. But you know, I could make my own one day if I learn. If I can, I can't find any good place to make my own. It's I haven't found the way yet. For me, that works for me. So next one is one that I got in a swap last year, the Connected and Free. I wasn't too sure when I received it. Oh God, they're all over the place, my cards today. I wasn't too sure, and then I started using it with the Tarot of Spirit. And well, I work with chakras, so I can use these cards. You know, I put the 7 chakras lined up, and then you know I can pull a card next to it, but I don't even use it that much like that. I just pull it now with the Tarot of Spirit. It just gives me that earthy tone to it, I suppose, that I like. So it can be used as general, and I think there's a new one that came out, the 2nd edition, and there's actually extra cards in it, which I don't have, but this one will do. I have one. Now, if I completely fall in love with it, and you know, can't live without it, and really want the new one, but usually I only get one set of cards. I mean, each to their own, but I don't need all the versions. It's like, I have one. My aim is to work really well with one. And then if I feel the need, well, I'll get another version. But for the moment, these are fine. So I'll show you, because right now there's one that's on my altar with my Tarot of Spirit. And I'm not going to discuss my cards here because it would take another hour video, but this is the kind of reading I can do with it. 2 cards, one of each, and it's breathtaking. So that's done. Just a couple left, please bear with me. And as I said, it's in no particular order. It's not like my favorite, my non-favorite. They all amazed me in 2016. And why? Because, well, I got most of them. You don't want to go on camera, you're shy. I got most of them in 2016, and yes, you'd think, oh, in a year you got so close. Yes, I did, because I worked so hard with them to get very close to them. So the one that doesn't want to show its face is the Spirit Messages Oracle deck by John Holland. And I saw this on Kelly's again channel, And I saw that she cut them off because there was a message at the bottom, and I must admit I'm not big on message cards. Each to their own. But this once again gave me a direction, but this is, it's called the spirit messages, and you can work like that with spirits with it. So if you want to get messages from spirits, this is a deck you can get. Obviously, as I said, normally there's a message here, so it's not the full deck the way it was intended, but I think it works better like this. I don't need the pictures are good enough for me to work with, but I use it exclusively for that. I don't use it much for any other purpose than get a message, from my ancestors. So, no, they're all over the place. Sorry, they just fell off. So yeah, just beautiful, huh? So they give you good advice about things. You can pull them with, once again, tarot cards. And I'm going to do the last one because my voice is going now. It's the Devas of Creation by Sheila Conway. Now, I like Sheila's decks. She's got 3 decks that she's done. And I use it with the Enchanted Words, the Enchanted Tarot, because they just go well together, so they stay in the same box. They like to sleep together. But yeah, so this is one of these decks that at first you look at it and think, a mountain or whatever, but that reveals itself to you. So it's working with the Devas now. To me, it doesn't matter who I work with. What matters is the connection we're going to have together. And there's a brilliant Facebook group. See, the first card is a black card. There's a Facebook group with for this deck with Sheila, so you can get to learn them in a group, and it's really nice. They give extremely accurate readings, but at first I wasn't sure what to do with them. Sometimes you get a deck, I've edged them black, but I need to re-edge them. Sometimes you get a deck and you think, oh, not sure what I'm gonna get from them. It's a deck that reveals itself to you bit by bit. It's not the obvious, oh yeah, I get it, like John Holland's, right? Straight away, okay, what it means. These are cards that you need to get into and discover and see what the message is for you. See, we've had powerful experiences in this group already with this deck, and I like to pair them with tarot. It was a bit of a diva, it's called a diva, but as in D-I-V-A to start with, because it didn't want to work with any of my tarot, and I said, hey, you can't be exclusive, I need to pair you with a tarot, which is videos I'm going to make soon too about pairing oracles and tarot. And then the Enchanted Tarot was the only one that this deck accepted. So now they're in the same box, but I found that my Elemental Tarot works with it well too. So this is really a bit like this. They're a bit like the soul cards to me. It's like you need to get deep into them to really get a powerful reading. Brilliant cards. That's it. I think I finished. I'm surrounded by decks everywhere, so now I'm gonna clean up. And I hope you enjoyed this. And ooh, I've got enough oracle decks too. So I'm glad. I love my collection, and I'm always looking forward to seeing your collection too. I hope you're gonna have a great day today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.